Before he was the skull-faced sorcerer, before the evil laugh, Skeletor was a man. And not just any man, he was royalty. But here's the question that changes everything. Was Skeletor born evil, or did Eternia create him? Today we're breaking down the full origin of Skeletor, from Keldor's rise to power to the transformation that turned him into the Dark Lord of Destruction. And trust me, this story is darker than the 80s cartoon ever showed in modern Masters of the Universe canon, especially the 2002 series and expanded lore. Skeletor was originally Keldor. Keldor was the half-brother of King Randor, which means He-Man's father and Skeletor share blood. Let that sink in. Keldor was the son of King Miro and a woman of Gar descent, which gave him blue skin and marked him as different. And different in Eternia meant suspicious. So here's the tension. Was Keldor rejected because he was evil? Or did rejection push him toward it, because feeling like an outsider inside a royal family? That breeds resentment. When the time came for the throne, Randor was chosen, not Keldor, even though Keldor believed he had equal claim, maybe stronger ambition, maybe sharper mind. But Randor had loyalty. Keldor had hunger. And that's where things turned. Because here's the question. If Keldor had been crowned king, would Eternia have avoided decades of war? Or would he have ruled with cruelty from the start? History chose Randor. Keldor chose rebellion. Keldor didn't just sulk. He built alliances, gathered dark warriors, formed what would become the early evil warriors. He challenged Randor openly, and during one final confrontation, Keldor hurled acid at Randor's face, but it backfired. The acid splashed onto Keldor instead. His face began to melt, his body failing, his ambition collapsing. And here's the haunting moment. This is where he could have surrendered. But instead, he made a darker choice, dying, disfigured, desperate. Keldor turned to forbidden magic. He called upon Hordak. Yes, Hordak, the ancient Horde leader. In some versions, Hordak saves Keldor's life, but at a cost. Keldor's face is fused into a skull-like form, his humanity stripped away, his identity reborn, and Skeletor is born. Not just scarred physically, but mentally reshaped. Here's the question. Did Hordak save Keldor, or did he weaponize him? Because after this moment, Keldor disappears. Only Skeletor remains. Now reborn as Skeletor, he establishes Snake Mountain. He studies dark magic, ancient secrets, forbidden artifacts. But here's the real psychological shift. He's no longer fighting for the throne. He's fighting for ultimate power. The power of Grayskull. And here's what makes that dangerous. Skeletor doesn't just want to rule. He wants cosmic control. Which raises the question, was the throne ever enough? Or was that just step one? People often treat Skeletor like comic relief. But his origin is tragic. He lost his face, lost his identity, lost his place in the kingdom. And instead of healing, he hardened. His hatred for Randor turned into obsession with Adam. And that's personal. Very personal. Because every time He-Man wins, it reminds Skeletor of the brother who was chosen over him. So here's the tension. Does Skeletor fight for power or for validation? Now here's where it gets interesting. The 1980s Filmation cartoon never clearly confirmed the Keldor origin. He was just Skeletor, a mysterious sorcerer. But later adaptations, especially the 2002 series and modern Netflix lore, leaned heavily into the Keldor backstory. Why? Because it adds emotional weight. Family betrayal hits harder than random villainy. So the question becomes, which origin is stronger? The mysterious evil wizard or the fallen prince turned monster? At his core, Skeletor represents something universal: jealousy, ambition, resentment, refusal to accept second place. He doesn't think he's evil, he thinks he was wronged. And that makes him compelling. Because villains who believe they deserve power are far more dangerous than those who just want chaos. So here's the final tension. If Randor had treated Keldor differently, would Skeletor even exist? Skeletor wasn't born in Snake Mountain. He was born in a palace, a prince, a brother, a rival. And through pride, betrayal, magic, and obsession, he became Eternia's greatest threat. But deep down, is there still a piece of Keldor inside? Or is that man truly gone? Let me know. Was Skeletor always destined for darkness, or was he a tragedy Eternia created? Because sometimes the greatest villains aren't monsters, they're fallen heroes.